There are quite a few different secret and hidden armor sets in God of War Ragnarok, which make up some of the best armor sets in the game, making Kratos extremely powerful. So real quick, we'll go over the locations for all of the best armor sets and how to get them as soon as possible. There are definitely more obtainable armor sets out there, so if I didn't include your favorite one here, let us know down in the comments. And if you didn't know, you can also transmog these armor sets by heading into your menu under armor and press square to customize your appearance. Starting off with what I think is the most slept on armor set in Ragnarok, the Hunter's armor is easily one of the coolest looking armor sets in God of War Ragnarok, but can also be one of the best armor sets stats wise as well, offering some of the best ranged attack buffs you can get. So if you're into rocking the spear and spamming ranged attacks, this is an extremely good set of armor. I don't know why, but I just love how these styles look with just the single strap across rather than being fully kitted to the gills. To get this set of armor, you'll need to travel almost to an entirely different realm within Vanaheim called the Crater, which is done so by following the Scent of Survival favor after completing the Creatures of Prophecy story mission from the path. So if you haven't seen the Crater yet, we're about to go through some map spoilers, so feel free to fast forward to the next armor set for now. To get it, you'll first need to find the Hunter's brand, which is dropped by a certain enemy you encounter when you reach the plains of the Crater, the Centaur. When you first run over to the sinkholes and slide down the rope, you'll face it here. And then after defeating a certain type of boss enemy in the sinkholes, you'll run into it again over in the little dead end portion. And then once again, you'll fight the Centaur in the plains, sort of in the center, where you can then head over to the jungle and face it not too long after getting there, and then finally defeat it in the most southern portion of the jungle, where he'll drop the Hunter's brand. Now you have the crafting recipe for the Hunter's brand, but to actually obtain the Hunter's armor, you'll need to complete 2 epic hunts within the plains to get the 2 other Hunter's brands. One is dropped from a favor called In Plain Sight, where you need to fight a boss after first interacting with the 3 burnt up animals left in this section of the plains. They're all behind different boulders. After interacting with them, you can find the one behind all of this by hitting these marking covered rocks, who will drop the Hunter's brand. Now in the plains, if you come here at nighttime, you'll see 3 purple wisps sucking the life out of 3 different animals, and after shooting them with a pink arrow, you're able to burn them off like a tick with Kratos' Blades of Chaos' heavy attack, starting the Nocturnal Predator favor, and all 3 of these guys are in the same general area, not very far from one another. Afterwards, you can walk to the center point where all 3 of these meet in order to start a boss battle with the enemy that drops the Hunter's brand. Once you complete the Word of Fate main story mission, you're able to go out and obtain the Guiding Light armor set, also known as Tyr's armor, which is why it resembles every other God armor we've worn in past games and is very similar to Tyr's armor in the last God of War game. Tyr's Guiding Light armor is one of the most powerful armors you can get to make some of the most massive damage happen, and it's awesome because it's obtainable around mid-game rather than having to wait towards the end. It's also not a bad armor set to have late game either, because it's one of the strongest you can get. To get this armor, you just need to complete the favor, also called Guiding Light, which doesn't take long at all and is probably the easiest set of armor to obtain on this list. You get one of the bracers directly in front of Brock and Sindri's shop. Another bracer is just to our east, where you'll need to head to the shores of Nine, where after hopping over the little ledge, Kratos will lift a stone to crawl under and into a portion of Tyr's statue, where you can turn right to burn some weeds down. The next piece is super obvious to find inside of Tyr's burning helmet sitting in the middle of the lake. And then just southeast of us is the final piece, just after passing under the bridge buried in the snow. I wasn't always a fan of this armor set other than how it looks, because it looks amazing, but it's also a phenomenal set of armor and can be overpowered, allowing you to heal while dealing damage, making it one of the best sets you can get, or at least a good set to rock at least a couple of the pieces with a mix of another piece of armor. For example, you could toss the arms and waist, which increase the amount of health given from health stones and rage, with another chest piece to still take advantage of some of those health buffs. Although the Raven tier armor set requires you to find different amounts of ravens in the game, it's really not very hard to acquire. If you head over to Niflheim, you'll notice 6 legendary chests set in front of the Raven tree, 3 on the left and 3 on the right, with the entire left side being pieces of armor. You'll unlock all 3 on the left side with all 3 pieces of the Raven tier armor only after finding 18 of the 48 ravens. One is openable at 6 ravens for the girdle, being the waist piece. At 12 ravens, you can get the bracers of Raven tiers, and then at 18 ravens, you can grab the chest piece or cuirass of Raven tier's armor. Ravens are much easier to spot in this game than they were in the original, so you really shouldn't have too much trouble, but I'll leave a guide to every Raven location in the description. If the chests aren't opening and you definitely have the ravens, wait until the dialogue is over in the background. The other chests unlock once you find 28, 38, and 48 Raven locations. The Steinbjorn armor set is arguably the #1 best armor set you can obtain in God of War Ragnarok, allowing you to tank endless amounts of damage and the ability to heal. If you look at the chest piece stats, you'll see that its defense is the best in the entire game and will quickly allow you to max out Kratos' defense, with the chest piece getting up to almost 200 defense alone, but it also comes with the ability to restore Kratos' health with each hit for a short time. To get the full Steinbjorn armor set, you'll first need to head over to Midgard and grab the mystical heirloom from below Tyr's temple and south of Brock and Sindri's shop. Now that you have the mystical heirloom, you can obtain the 4 different slumber stones from different sleeping trolls. Luckily, one of them is right down the road from where we got the heirloom in Midgard, just to the west at the derelict outpost. If you see a giant troll statue here, you're at the right place. But don't think we're just gonna waltz over and take a stone out of his pocket. You'll need to equip the heirloom as a relic and then use the relic by pressing L1 in circle to awaken the sleeping troll. After defeating it, he'll drop the slumber stone, and if you want to, you should be able to craft a piece of the armor with it, but I'd recommend just grabbing the other ones first. The second troll is in Alfheim in the Forbidden Sands, which means you'll first need to complete the Secret of Sand's Favor in the Barrens, and then upon reaching the Forbidden Sands, we'll be given the favor called Song of Sands, and after completing that one, can come to this location to awaken the sleeping troll. Our third location contains 2 trolls over in Vanaheim in the Noatune's Garden. You don't have to travel too deep into this region and you'll see them both posted up like Pokemon trainers protecting the actual boss behind a sealed door. After awakening them and defeating each of them, you can grab the slumber stones, which are required to craft the full set of Steinbjorn armor. Now I say it's arguable on this being the best armor set in God of War Ragnarok because while it's definitely the best defensive armor, a lot of it revolves around being hit, which in my opinion, when you're facing harder enemies, you want to rely on dealing as much damage as possible and being able to learn the enemy's moves so you can dodge or parry them and aim not to get hit at all. But if you're more of a defensive player, there's definitely some good heal builds to be made with this armor. One of my personal favorite armor sets in the game is the dragon scaled armor. When it comes to just plain old strength and defense, this armor is fantastic, but I mean the main reason I think anybody's going to like it is just the way it looks. Definitely the best looking armor in the game and the one that sticks out the most. We already went over how to get to the location where you'll need to head to get this armor, which is the crater in Vanaheim. So again, if you haven't gotten to this point, just complete the Creatures of Prophecy main story mission, which at the end you will get the Scent of Survival favor. And after following that, it will take you to the crater. Once you find yourself at this new crater location, still within Vanaheim, you'll need to fight your first dragon in order to unlock the crafting recipe for the dragon scaled armor. Getting the necessary resources to actually craft it and upgrade it are a whole different story though. There are 3 dragons in the jungle, 2 in the plains, and 2 in the sinkholes. I'm not going to go over exact locations for each of them because it generally requires you to traverse the whole area, so after going through here yourself, you should be able to find them. Although it can be a little annoying to traverse through this whole region. So to upgrade the dragon scaled armor, you'll need dragon claws and dragon teeth dropped from defeating dragons Drake and Dreki, although I've never found dragon claws from a Dreki other than the boss in the jungles of the crater. Other than the locations we went over, you'll get dragon teeth and dragon claws as a reward for finding every raven and returning to Niflheim, as well as from the desert door favor in Alfheim's Forbidden Sands. Finally, we'll end it off with the Berserker set of armor because in my opinion this is the best armor set in the game, giving you an insanely high damage soul explosion ability on those waist and wrist pieces, and then the chest armor giving an insane buff to damage after using a relic, but also forces Kratos to get hit harder as well. You can make a monster build with this armor, so just let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see some build videos next. But to get the Berserker armor, you need to defeat 3 specific Berserkers across different realms, the first being the chest piece in the Barrens. Before being able to fight the Berserker, you have to complete the Secret of the Sand's Favor that you get before arriving here. That will uncover the Berserker site. Then the Midgard Berserker just to the east of Brock and Sindri's shop at the Lake of Nine will drop the waist piece. And then finally the Berserker gauntlets are picked up after defeating the Berserker in the mist fields of Niflheim. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys want to see next down in the comments. After following this video and my guides on leveling all of your weapons to their max level of 9, you should be off to a pretty good start for New Game Plus and have a pretty solid build.